Hey, what is up people? This is Sarang, and in this video we are going to talk about weight loss friendly foods and weight loss not so friendly foods. I'm going to completely break it down to you, everything that you will ever need to know about the kind of foods that make you fat and the kind of foods that will help you lose weight. So the things that I'm going to tell you in this video are almost backed by like 50 years of rigorous scientific research, and we have almost come to a conclusion of this being the one of the major causes of why almost 1 in 3 people out there are getting obese, diabetic, and are getting unhealthy and things like that. Before we begin, just like let me give you a quick intro. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sarang and I teach you guys about weight loss, health and longevity. So if you are someone who is interested in this kind of thing, if you are interested in losing weight, if you are interested in living a long and healthy life, then make sure that you hit the subscribe button and stay updated on all the things, all the videos and things like that I upload. So all that out of the way, let's just jump into the video. So before we really get into the major thing of what I really want to tell you in this video, the major thing that differentiates fattening foods from slimming foods, I just want to make this one thing clear, so that you really understand the point that I'm trying to make further into the video, that the whole deal with weight loss and weight gain ultimately really comes down to the calories that you're eating. So if it does not matter whether you're getting your calories from ice cream or whether you're getting your calories from apples, as long as you're getting the right amount of calories, as long as you're in a deficit, you are going to lose weight. And as long as you are in a you're not really exceeding, you're not really eating more calories than you're burning, you are not really going to gain weight. So at the core of it, if we looked into this whole deal, if we just simplified this whole picture down to just the core principles, then ice cream is not really more fattening than say apples or say broccoli. Right. So I want you to forget everything that I have said up until this point of time into this video. Because when we simplify things down to just saying that an ice cream is just as fattening as apple, we obviously know that there is something wrong in that model, because if that was the only case, then we wouldn't have like 1 in 3 people obese out there and 1 in 4 people diabetic. So we really need to look at this whole thing from a practical standpoint to really make right food choices, so that we don't gain weight, and if you're already overweight and obese, you lose weight and maintain it. If we just simplified these things down to very basic things, people gain weight because people overeat on food. People basically eat more food than they should be. So when you eat more food than you should be, you gain weight. When you eat less food than you should be, you basically lose weight. To really understand why you eat more food than you should be, or why you might eat less food than you should be, you need to understand the basics of how our body regulates food intake. So if we just let look at the basic things, in everyday life, we basically eat when we get hungry and we stop when we are satiated. That means when we feel full. So we know that when you are gaining weight, for example, there is something wrong with this basic balance of hunger and satiety. You are either getting way more hungry than you should be, or way more often than you should be, and you are not really stopping at the point that you should be to really maintain your weight. So there is something wrong in this basic balance of getting hungry and stopping when you're full, because of which you're eating in excess and gaining weight. Now, there are many factors and many explanations as to what exactly causes this imbalance, and this what exactly messes this basic balance between hunger and satiety. But there is one thing in particular that is proven by study upon study, research upon research, and that is foods that have carbohydrates plus fat. Now, if I were to tell you any food, like literally any food that is found in nature to eat. So for example, if I told you to eat apples, for example, now apples have a lot of sugar. It has like 20 grams of sugar, I think, per 100 grams or so. I think I'm not sure about this, but it has a lot of sugar and a lot of carbohydrates. So if I told you to eat as many apples as you can in one sitting, you would maybe eat like 2 apples or maybe 3 apples and call it a day. You would stop at that. Or even if you look something that has a lot of high fat content like avocado or coconut, or even meat like mutton or chicken or eggs, you would eat a good enough quantity, a moderate quantity, and then you will stop eating. So if you were to really look into the nature, you will find absolutely no food that has carbohydrate plus fat. Every single food that is found in nature either has protein plus carbohydrates or it has protein plus fat. No food in nature has this combination of carbohydrates plus fat. So when you really eat such foods, carbohydrate that has carbohydrates plus fats, these are the kind of foods like bread plus butter, roasted bread plus butter, or eating our daily chapati or roti if you're an Indian with gravy that has a lot of oil, or eating a chocolate cake that has a lot of sugar, flour and butter, carbohydrates plus fat. When you eat these kind of foods on a day-to-day basis, or frequent enough, it basically completely messes this basic balance of hunger and satiety. When you eat carbs plus fat, your brain just doesn't, we can call it in a way, your brain just doesn't recognize it as food. It thinks that this is some kind of superfood that has a lot of calories, because our brain is basically wired to get as many calories as it can, and it also tastes really damn awesome. The palatability of foods that have carbohydrates plus fat is completely through the roof. So when you eat these kinds of foods frequently enough, what happens is, not only in the short period of when you are eating it, your brain does not slam the brakes and tell you to stop eating, and because of that you overeat on food. Even after you have eaten it, even like hours later or days later or even months later, your brain is going to make you crave that food, and going to make you eat that food, or go and find that food and eat it. So because of that, when you eat frequently enough, when you eat these kind of foods, you are not stopping when you should be. The satiety mechanisms of the whole food regulation kind of mechanism is messed up. You're not stopping, you're not really getting satiated when you should be, and you're overeating in short term. You're also getting way more hungry for that particular kind of foods. So carbs plus fat is the thing that makes you fat in long term. It makes you more hungry, and it doesn't tell you when to. It basically completely overrides all the mechanisms, all the circuits in your brain that makes you stop eating. Many people are surprised when I tell them your body actually has, literally your brain and your body has evolved circuits to prevent you from gaining fat, to prevent you from gaining weight. There are many studies showing this. But when you eat foods that are not really found in nature, when you make them hyper palatable in nature, that is carbohydrates, sugar plus fat, you basically override all these built up circuits that prevent you from eating, from getting fat, or from overeating. So if you really want to lose weight, you need to either eat protein plus fats or protein plus carbs in one meal, and mostly stick to the foods that are found in nature, whole foods, or minimally processed foods, or minimally refined foods. So I hope you understood this video. I hope you got the message. If you did, hit the like button. If you have any questions on this matter, or anything to do with weight loss, health, or longevity, anything like that, ask me in the comment section, and I'll try to answer it there, or I'll make a video on it. If you're into this stuff, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.